Gemini was in the news recently because of the fact that it was more multimodal than OpenAI. But what does all this really translate to if you are the IT head of an enterprise? How do you actually decide which is the right option for you, given that there are open source options like LLaMA, which are available in the market? That this is what this snippet is all about.
Yeah. So basically, if you look at these three models, like ChatGPT, which is from OpenAI, which is very widely used, right? Its focus is mostly text so far. The GPT-4 that they recently launched has a little bit of visual support in it. And the kind of philosophy of OpenAI is to partner with other companies like Microsoft and others to kind
Yeah.
of build an ecosystem around this. The Gemini is the model that was launched by Google recently. Its kind of, motto is democratize AI worldwide. And its second motto is multimodal. So it's not just text, but it can do audio, visual, video, right? It can do all those things.
Right.
And it kind of ecosystem is Google itself. So their kind of model is that they integrate with lots of other Google applications to give that end-to-end capability.
Okay. So does that mean, Samir, one question here, which I think a lot of the viewers also would be having, is that so I need to be in the Google ecosystem, then I need to be using something like G Suite and to really make use of Gemini, since you said it uses apps of Google.
Yeah, so mostly that is true, though they have a kind of little bit of API. So with the API, you can
Right.
even integrate with other ecosystems.
Okay, okay, right. And this multimodal, can you give us an example, like what would be a example of a multimodal kind of implementation
Yeah,
company?
so apart from chat, for example, you could give like a description of an image, and then it will generate
Hmm.
an image can generate a music for you, right? I mean, that is kind of a multimodal. It's not just text, but it deals with other media as well.
Right, right, cool. Yeah.
Yeah, so then, I mean, since Gemini's kind of, vision was democratize AI worldwide, needless to say that it is cost effective for many languages, including
Right.
Japanese, Korean, right? One bit of focus of these models, right? I mean, the ChatGPT is again widely used, but it kind of also caters on mobile, right? Llama, which is from Meta, Facebook, its kind of
Hmm.
focus is on server. So
Hmm.
if you are doing pretty intense server intensive applications, then it's a good model to use.
Okay.
Google's strategy has been kind of a web, right? So, I mean, it's kind of a web only strategy. However, the nano version of Gemini also works on a mobile.
Right, right. So, is there any kind of, like, if I could say, cheat code here? Basically, if I'm a IT head and I'm trying to understand which of these we should use for the Gen AI application that I'm building. So, one is, yes, if I have multimodal inputs right now, as you said, Gemini is most suited,
Right.
right, for this. Apart from that, in what scenarios do you think? Can you give an example of where Llama would be like the first choice?
Right. So, I mean, say for example, if you look at Llama, right, it has no API support, right? So, I mean, obviously, if you want API, you cannot use it, right?
Hmm.
It's primarily server model, right? So, I mean, if you are doing internal application where maybe you have lots of data you want to summarize, right? Or you
Okay.
want to kind of interact with that data, which
Right.
is kind of in-house, right? I mean, that could be one example where you may want to use Llama.
Okay, great. Fine. And all of these, I think out of these, Llama is an open source one, right? Apart from ChatGPT and Gemini are commercial. Like,
That's and again one kind of a minor thing, but which can be important is ChatGPT is the only one which has online support. So I mean, if you run into any support issues,
oh,
then
okay.
ChatGPT Llama still doesn't have it. So like I mean, primarily you should try to if it doesn't fit the bill like a multimodal, right, or a
Yeah,
non-English languages, you may want to use Gemini, and for
right.
pure heavy server side heavy lifting, you may want to use Llama.
Okay,